Hey guys, it's Monday. So after talking last week about Brian Cox and how cool he was basically, on Friday I kind of met him. I was in London from Wednesday till Saturday competing in the finals of the National Science and Engineering competition with a team of guys which I did a project with last year. Essentially we won the regional heats and then got through to the national ones, which was kind of weird and totally unexpected when we started it. But yeah, so I met Brian Cox and I got my photo taken with him, and I was basically super excited. And for once, when you only get one chance to take a photo and it's with someone that you actually want to have your photo taken with, I look half decent, and that never happens. I've had so many pictures taken with bands where I look absolutely hideous. So I'm kind of pleased with that, and it was really random after what I talked about in last week's video. Someone who I also met when I was in London, which was even more random than meeting Brian Cox, was a guy called Matt who was in my class in first school from like reception to year 4, and I had no idea he existed. Yeah, basically his team were on the stand that backed onto ours, and they came around to talk to us at one point and were just like, oh yeah, where are you from? And I was like, Northumberland, and he was like, where? And I was like, it's a town called Hexham, you won't have heard of it. And he went, I lived there, and I went to St Mary's first school. And I was just like, so did I, and we're in the same year, and there was only one class, so we were in the same class. And neither of us had any idea that the other existed, but now that he said who he was, I totally remember him, and it's really weird, and he's added me on Facebook. But it made me kind of start reminiscing, got a bit nostalgic about my first school years. And so when me and Fran were discussing earlier, we decided to make this week's theme about memories from the past. So yeah, I've got loads of memories of like my first year of school, so when I was like 4 or 5, but I can't actually remember my first day, which is kind of weird, but I guess other things that happened that year were far more interesting to my young brain. When I was looking through my photo album of like photos from like that sort of era, just, you know, because meeting Matt made me think back to it, I found a photo of Victorian Day, and I just remembered how much fun that day was. And basically one day every year we had Victorian Day, and everybody dressed up, all the teachers dressed up, the dinner ladies dressed up, like the lessons were done Victorian style, with like the teacher standing pointing at the blackboard with a cane, and it was just so much fun because everybody got so into it. Like at break and lunchtime we weren't allowed to play with like footballs and hoops and stuff. No, we were allowed to play with hoops, but not like the plastic ones. We had to play like Victorian style games, we did hopscotch and stuff, and it was basically just a massive laugh, and I wish things like that still happened because I loved it. And I also remember our trip to the beach. I don't have a like scanned in photograph of that, or even just like a rubbishly taken one like the other one is, but I have a genuine picture. These are like photos that my reception teacher gave my mum like years after I'd left school, and she'd kept them, and then obviously my brother was at school, and so she'd given, when my brother left, she gave them to my mum. And yeah, the trip to the beach, we got 2 ice creams. Our group basically, in the price of the trip, which basically covered the bus and the ice cream, you got an ice cream. And our group leader couldn't be bothered to wait until the end of the day for us to get our ice creams. So when every other group was starting to go in the sea, we went and got an ice cream. And then we played in the sea. And then we had another ice cream. And basically it was just a really hilarious day. And I miss the times when school trips were like that and not at all educational. Yeah, we also climbed the lighthouse tower, I don't think. Yeah. Another memory that just kind of came into my head when I was thinking about this video was me and my best friend Siobhan sitting on the grass outside the reception classroom, and with our fingers and probably faces covered in chocolate from having to eat melted Kit Kats in our lunch. I don't really know why that memory stands out, but it does. But yeah, basically meeting this guy has just made me spend like the entire weekend reminiscing about my childhood, and it's been awesome.